happens every day. The times with the ways, and we do it every way.
Yeah.
And we go to GPS.
Yeah.
Fuck that we get ways.
Yeah.
People want to know how we do it on a payday. Yeah, we robbing. Yeah, we styling. Yeah, we rocking. And it's gonna last. We ain't talking about the future, no, we're talking about the past. Fuck the present. You are tuned to the cast. Yeah! Yeah! That's the intro. That's the intro, yeah.
Fuck with him.
Definitely fuck with
Hell yeah, hell yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Boom. Yeah.
What's up?
Wait, Sam, do it again. Sam, do it again. Matt, do it.
It's like dark. It's like dark to light.
For real.
You know what? This works.
It's segregation for the win.
Dude, wait, I just realized something, dude. This looks so fun. This is so weird. Both the black guys wearing black and white people wearing yellow.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I was not expecting that either.
This is a...
Should we do one
I was
on one?
looking at the lighting and being like,
Yeah, we can just
our
like
lighting is
mix
very
it up
bright.
a bit. Like,
You want to put?
It's a very dark side of that screen.
One of us can sit between them.
It is. It's almost like
It's because we're
It's
watching
almost
out this side.
unprofessional, like
Right.
photography wise.
Oh
It's
my
like
gosh, I can see it. It's like we're affecting the area.
I put a lot of the sun on here or the light. I might transition light out here. You want to move?
I'm just gonna scoot between them two.
I didn't know. And white people were
I'm gonna do it like this a little more, so like we aren't so blown out. Sorry.
you good.
Oh.
Behind the leg.
Shouldn't be so blown out.
I don't know. For some reason,
There.
over time, I feel like my leg just been going through a lot. Like it's been going through the most.
Your leg?
Yeah, like every time I'm skating or if I'm stepping on something, I just feel like a certain part of my bone just feels like it's about to give, but it's not. It's like I don't know.
I feel that with my back. My back. I got that sciatica nerve shit.
Bad back.
It's fucked up.
I have terrible posture, and I'm just now realizing how crooked I am.
Hey, people won't know that we have scoliosis if they don't know.
Amen. This might as well be the scoliosis cast.
Scoliosis cast.
Scully cast.
Scully cast?
It's the way so I can stop coughing.
Welcome to the scoliosis cast.
say-
Oh, no, ruin
Alright. Alright.
Yeah, actually has scoliosis.
Alright.
I mean,
She had-
she's.
she
I mean,
had
yeah,
surgery.
she had it, but.
it. Well, I mean, I don't think it's like offensive.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
Unless you're making
We don't
a
have
correct
it.
statement.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm pretty sure my
Look at
spine's crooked. So like, I mean, yeah.
there you go.
Nice.
There you go.
Like it happens. It happens. Like,
Justifies your homosexuality. That's all you need.
Sure.
yeah, anything that you can say during Pride Month, they're just gonna take it into consideration.
Amen.
Correct. Today I said fag flag because I am one, and an old lady heard me and was like, "Ma'am, are you gay?" Like she was like not in a bad way, but she was making sure that I, as a fag, was saying fag
Right.
and not as
Checking
a
you.
derogatory straight person.
Yes.
And I was like, "Oh no, I'm bi. I mean, I have a boyfriend, but like, and I just gave her my whole life story by accident in panic." And she was like, "Okay, honey, it's okay. Just want to make sure you're an ally." And then she just walked away. She was like close to 80, and I almost shit myself. I felt so terrified
Wow.
because like that's a
you
fine
go
thing to
home.
say. Fag flag's a fine thing to say
I would be
when I don't care
girl.
about the word, and it wasn't towards anyone.
You're right, but she didn't have to act like an op towards it.
True,
Or like a-
but I mean, if I heard a random redhead bitch say fag flag during Pride Month, like derogatorily to her coworkers that don't look gay,
that makes
I'd
You
sense.
have
probably
been-
say something.
She has been dealing with it for 80 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 80 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something.
Long
Yeah.
time. You went to the thick of
That's
it.
right.
yeah.
like,
She watched it
She's seen
happen.
some shit.
Yeah, she's heard that word be used very nasty against somebody because like the look on her face when I said it was like I said cunt. I don't know what I can and can't say on this.
Pretty much anything you fucking want. I
Beautiful.
guess.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Okay.
it's very filtered, and if it goes unfiltered, then fuck it.
Boop, boop.
Fuck it.
No big
Fuck
deal.
it. Fuck it. We live in. Nothing like Larry. So, this is our podcast. What was the name we decided with?
The
cast.
The cast.
So simple.
Yes.
The cast. Does that exist somewhere? It probably does. But
Probably
who
does,
cares?
but you know what?
We'll
We're
tweak
gonna
it.
Right, like we
It's work in
can.
progress.
If you want, we can just change it, multiply it, probably put an actual cast in the podcast so it makes it sure like it's our signature
That's
trait.
true.
Right. Right now we're just figuring out the flow, and I guess
Yeah.
I think the name will come to us in a sense. Say it always does. I feel like it always comes together.
Mm-hmm.
It has to happen a certain way.
That's
Um,
right.
But what do we should we introduce ourselves for real? Because We're not anonymous.
True.
Not
Yeah,
anonymous.
we're not anonymous.
That's true.
Like last time we discussed our names, but it was very sudden because we didn't know who was which. So, if that case, you can go and start hitting that.
You want me to start with revealing my identity?
Of course.
You are the
You're the one who created this whole.
You're the OG.
thing, so
You're the OG. You are the
I'm
Steve
the
Jobs
OG.
of this operation, if you will.
Inventor.
I am no inventor, but thank you for stroking my ego so eloquently.
Of course. You're Mr.
But
Control.
yes, my name is Matthew. I like music. Yeah, there's a lot about that. But besides that, I'm well, not much. You know, I do play a lot of instruments. I love playing music. I love playing the game, and even though it deteriorates my mental health a lot. But yeah, there's not much to me. But the further you go into this podcast, the more you'll find out, because we have a lot of stories. Most definitely.
Man,
Most
what?
def.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get through the whole friend group series. We gotta get that's like a whole chapter in itself, or even a season.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, it could be like Game of Thrones, where you be
That's
honest.
8
Aaron's a
seasons.
season himself.
8 seasons, dude.
Can we change his name so he can't get the ego stroke that he would want from this? His name's
Jeff.
Sean. No, he's got to be disgusing.
Sean.
Jeff is too simple.
Nah, Sean's too simple.
Sean's
You
not
gotta.
really good,
What was that? What
I
was
know
that
this.
stupid?
Grim. We can call
I was
him
gonna say, what's that
Grim.
stupid thing?
Oh my
We can
god.
call him Grim.
What up? Keep going.
That was hard. Silence that.
Nah, I can't.
That gave the same essence of when it went.
That was a spit, bro.
and then it drops into Hotline Bling in like 2013.
I did.
Yeah.
Well, fun fact.
I did have that.
Yeah, I did have that
I did
exact
too.
ringtone.
Really?
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was so cool. I didn't even like Hotline Bling, but I was like, it's an iPhone sounding Hotline Bling.
Right,
That
yeah.
so it made
sounds
more
so
sense.
fun.
Drake really took over
That was cool,
the
man.
entire world at that point.
Yeah,
It
so
really
like
did.
it went from original ringtone to Hotline Bling, and then it went to Niggas in Paris.
Honestly, yeah, that
That's-
took him
yes.
from Degrassi to respect. Honestly, Hotline Bling kind of did. In my head, at least.
Really? I thought Hotline Bling was like
It was
he got
big.
really big and he was doing really good. He got the
Yeah.
Wayne shit, Rick Ross, and then he did Hotline Bling in the video. Was what it blew him up, but it was like
Oh, he was
funny
big,
press.
big,
It was
though.
funny press. It kind of
Yeah.
made him. It made
There
him.
was Marvin
I think
Rowe,
that's what
there
made him the
was
soft
a lot.
rapper was the
The
Hotline
soft
Bling thing.
certified lover
Yeah.
boy.
Because he kind of like that's when he was really in limelight
Also
for real,
Certified Lover Boy.
Right. True.
I
That
mean, yeah,
one
because I
just
was
sort of
say
cemented it.
But he kind of
into
he kind of took it on and was like, I'm gonna accept it.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's always
Love
been
with
seen
it.
as
Makes
like
money.
the soft. I mean, there are tons of
Right.
Drake memes. The whole light skin meme just
That is
became
the
a thing.
funniest thing.
Not more than likely due to Drake, but he had an influence on that.
Right.
Because
Yeah, it was like
I mean, it's
Drake type.
Like there was Marvin's Room, you know. There, oh
Man,
Marvin's
that
Room.
song.
That song has put a lot of people through
Well,
a
yeah,
lot of things.
Like I didn't know the term "Don't Drink and Drive" until I actually got a car and listened to that in the car. And yeah, don't do that. Don't ever do that. It
Don't
still
do
stands
that.
to this day. That meme
yeah.
is gonna be immortalized. But I feel like Drake's music is like over time you just realize like how y'all talking about how he was like having the soft type of vibe when he was in the game and shit. But after a certain point, kind of low, like he just solidified himself and changed the way. But now he's just doing side quests and stuff.
He's boss. He's
Basically.
boss.
Yeah, that is true.
He's boss, dude. I wouldn't be surprised he's got a lot of I guess power in the shit we don't think he got kind of thing. Because I think, you know, he puts out certain shoes, whatever, like he does a lot of little shit for himself that his name attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I know he's big boss in different rooms with Nike and fucking whoever the fuck else
Yeah.
making
Mhm.
big moves, like making like I get because I mean Jack Harlow, his success is based off Jack Harlow. You know what I'm saying? But when he got to the big point he was at, in a sense, and he got to meet someone like Drake and people around him.
Yeah.
Like before they was at the Kentucky Derby, like posted up in that thing. You know they were together, like making big fucking moves, and he was mentoring Jack to do this and that. Like, oh, do the KFC thing, do this that. You know what I'm saying? I know he touches everything that goes into that radar. Everything.
Oh yeah, if it gets
can
hot,
see
you
that.
know, that's what artists really have to do to stay, well, extremely relevant through, like, especially the music industry. They have to find whoever is the hot thing right now. You remember Little Baby? He did a song with Little Baby. Uzi,
Right, exactly.
He's done a song with just
Exactly.
about every like rapper that had like a big boom, so to say.
A mainstream hole.
Yeah,
At
makes
least in the last
Yeah, with
like,
Trippie.
5 or 6
He
years.
did with Trippie after Miss the Rage.
Yeah.
Not during Love Scar, not during that
Mhm.
Miss the Rage, because
Miss
that
the Rage.
was
That
Yeah,
was,
that was
That's
global.
it.
That was
Exactly.
global.
It was.
He's because he sees the difference between oh, you got community level of fame, you got local community fame.
Then you got
Are you like
cultural
you're
level.
American? You can survive
Mhm.
America because they respect this and that. But when you bring other things to the table, he's like, oh wait, that's global.
That's international.
That's
Yeah.
global. Let's get that. And it's
That's
like
one-
it's business, and he does it
Exactly.
good, dude. He does it fucking good.
Oh yeah.
Mhm. Especially
I mean-
with like the features that he had on Mr. Rage, like people with Cardi and them.
Exactly.
So by the time people were excited about it, they didn't know what he was gonna put onto the track, but it was alright.
And a lot of the people that got into it were, especially that when it blew up on TikTok, people only knew a snippet of the song, listened to the whole thing, and then became obsessed with the people that were featured on it because they had no idea what those people held. They would have never listened to that music had it not been for a TikTok trend. So like it reached a lot of different people.
That's why he
They
hopped
would
on that
never-
album, bro.
And that's how
Ever
you reach
reached.
popularity now.
Mhm.
True.
Like, you have to get you have to be a trend, basically.
That's
Somebody's got to make a dance to your shit.
Can we talk
Yeah.
about that? Can
So
we get
sad.
that? That is a can I this okay. So my thought process a lot is my future and how I'm going to make it. But I can't think too much because obviously that fucking ruins you. But
Mhm.
I almost think it's a fact. The fact that it is so I guess I'll use it this way. The fact that it is so hard to make it any other way than being trendy is terrifying.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Because like there's so many musicians. I guess not really acting, but there's other fucking industries that it goes with. But a lot of singers, shit like that, music producers, whatever. Feel like you got to do something stupid to like get anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like if you
Yeah.
really make a good song, like okay, it's good, cool, but you got nothing to back it up in a sense. Like people don't respect art anymore.
Mhm.
Like the mass doesn't respect art. A lot of people respect art, but the mass doesn't respect it. They respect just outrageousness and like
Definitely.
who can stand out the most in like a bad way.
Or like a
And
shock
infamous.
value.
In a shock way, because it's like it's a random one. I'm just gonna go in concert on Friday, but MGK was picked on and made fun of for all of his shit recently. Okay, you know what I'm saying? The past
Yeah.
in the year, or whatever.
He
He has grown because of it, so people stop. It's like he got big off being dumb, and he knew he was being dumb. That was the point. It was to be like punk and like fuck you. You're still gonna give me money. Watch you give me money. And so, and it happened. And so, I think people caught on. Were like, oh, he is just doing dumb shit. Like he really.
Right.
Megan them know that they take fucking Delta flights. They can afford privates. Megan Fox, fucking MGK. Megan Fox alone can fly that motherfucker around everywhere.
I
Megan
keep forgetting
never-
about them.
Megan-
That's what I'm
Never
saying. They're a
flew
power
Delta
couple,
before
and
him.
they're flying Delta to tours. Like it's like
Mm-mm.
you're not doing that
Delta
for that. You're doing that to step out and walk through the Atlanta airport and everyone take pictures and da 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 and see you and her and
And
oh, what's the
yeah,
ring look like for real?
wow.
Like, does it really hurt? Like, because you're thinking about that. You're thinking about it all the time. You don't even know it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it terrifies me that you have to be so outrageous because he did it already. Had a career, already had a platform. But if someone like Matt, you, me, even Sam, wants to go ahead and make some good ass music, you made Wants and Needs right now. You was the Drake, you was the baby of the song. Let's say you made that song right now. That's the biggest. That song popped up pretty fucking quick. You feel me?
Shit was very.
If it was just you and him, your voice sounded like it was good. You know what I'm saying? Hypothetically, it ain't gonna go nowhere. Even if you had a platform and were able to get it out to even 100,000 people, let's say that's the littlest you put out. Those 100,000 people are gonna like it, think it's good, but the respect for art's so down that they won't go show their friends. They won't go post about it. They won't show it because it's not cool. It's not trendy to like that your music and your music. It's not trendy to like it.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So like it's all these people like it comes down to people that really like art and that really like underground music in a sense to be like, oh, I love these people, I claim them, but But then another conversation is fucking gatekeeping. And it's like they hold these artists down by being like, like not telling people about it and being like, fuck you, this is art. I'm not gonna let you ruin it with your trendy shit. Da 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 da. We're not putting this on TikTok. Don't make this a TikTok song. But it's almost like
You need to use the platforms you're given.
it's the world we live in, and it's like, but if someone makes a good song. And it's like punk as fuck, but it goes on TikTok, get remixed. Now they, as a person, are like, you're just a pussy, you're a fake rock star because your shit got on TikTok.
Right.
That's what I hate.
But that's the thing. It becomes pretty cringy when you have a whole society that just turns any like good, significant, like deep, meaningful art into basically just a joke or a trend or something to make light of a situation. You know what I mean? It's a lot of like a lot of songs on TikTok that people wouldn't even know if it wasn't for TikTok, but it's something that somebody else had worked on like for a long time.
And they don't want it to be taken as a joke.
And you're reduced to
even with like Harry Styles, like that new
right.
song.
And you are degraded too.
The TikTok song.
Yeah, in this world
As it was.
It was. I didn't even know that was an actual song.
The whole
I just thought it was like a sound, and I was like, oh, okay.
And the whole song's really good. That's the thing. Is like him. I think he's a really good example too, because like One Direction was One Direction, and everyone, like, I was a 5 Sauce girl, but I knew all my best friends were 1D girls, and they're like obsessed with this boy band, and all of them, they had posters of each one in their room. It wasn't just Harry, it wasn't just Niall, it wasn't just whatever, and then they split up. And how often do you hear Niall Horan's things getting to top 100?
Right.
How often do you hear of Zayn Malik doing anything now because he started dating DG and lost all his shit? Mentally. I mean, he definitely got rehabilitated. But got mentally drained instead. I guess, like, physically better, mentally bad.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I was saying, like, I missed listening to Zayn music, because by the time he was dropping some music, it was very, like...
mundane. Yeah, it was very top notch, but it was mundane. Like, everyone else's was mundane compared to his.
True.
And, like... everything else just seems so simple, so it seems like he was the one who carried them, even though altogether they were definitely good.
They all had their certain role to play.
Right, but you can tell that because he has the voice that he does, he has the profit now and the trendiness now, but he's not respected the way he was respected when he was, sadly, the lead singer of a boy band.
It's not
cool. Crazy. It's not
cool.
Exactly. He's a grown man doing amazing things with his life and pursuing an individual career when he was forced to be in a group.
That's the thing.
That's hard.
You gotta target where the money is now.
Right.
And even with just about literally any industry, you have to specifically like premeditate where your target audience is going to be, because you can't just advertise to anybody anymore, because everybody's going to start having different opinions about literally anything. You could have a red, white, and blue parade, and someone's going to have a problem with
that.
Just it being that. And you're just going to be like, well, what's the fucking problem?
Yeah, and like, I feel like there's obviously, some people feel there's not much to be patriotic about, but even, like, patriarchy of any kind is so shunned, or, like, looked down upon, to where, like, July 4th is like, God, yeah, wear red, white, and blue because it's for the U.S., but if you do that, you're going to get looked at sideways because you wore the U.S.'s flag colors.
All I gotta say
is Mexico wears their flag colors, and their government's completely, and as a Mexican, is completely corrupt and overthrown right now by gangs, drug gangs.
Yeah, it gets deeper.
And we still wear our colors. We still say, like, we're proud of our country and where we came from, even though it's nothing. I mean, personally, why does it nothing to be proud of right now?
The majority of, like, for, like, the drug gangs you were talking about, like, even that entire subculture was created under the basis of the exploitation of the now sitting society that we, do have. It was because that people couldn't afford to do this or couldn't afford to live, basically, that they went and they were just like, hey, let's make this super cool drug called Coke, and, we're going to sell this shit to
this shit
people
comes
with
from
money.
The same thing as chocolate? You can make Coke and chocolate.
It's just caffeine.
And Coca-Cola at the same damn time.
Yeah, there was a theory that someone told me that Coca-Cola had
Nice.
low-key cocaine, but they were like components of it.
And
It
white
was,
wine.
and that
years
is
ago.
true. And
Yeah.
it was in the beginning. It was just we went to the Coke Factory. It actually explains it in all black. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's in Atlanta. It's actually really cool. You should do
Yeah,
it.
they
You get
don't
to chase
deny
Coke from all around the world.
Yeah,
and, like,
I've been there once, but it was like
When I was-
so long ago.
I was
Same.
a kid. We
We
both
were
went when we were
fourth grade.
tiny. I was about 8 or 9, and we went now as adults, and it's so much cooler. You get to like really experience it.
Yeah.
We did the 3D theater was 40
It's like,
theaters.
oh, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Illegal.
illegal, right? Well, because that's the thing is like back then it wasn't.
Yeah.
Back then that wasn't illegal. Back then that wasn't illegal to put a derivative of the cocoa plant in a syrup.
Was
And
the
that's what it
FDA
was.
even a thing
Babe,
back
the
then?
FDA approved a vaccine after 2 weeks of studies.
Well, yeah,
Under the
the
state of an
FDA really
emergency.
isn't a.
I don't think we should.
They haven't been that potent since the 90s.
The FDA gives Taco Bell an A+ every time on Washington Road.
Wow.
There's no way.
Nah, they
There's
know what
no
they're
way
doing.
health departments are doing their jobs.
Unless they
Yeah.
know about it from the inside and just don't care.
You also
Most of
gotta
them
think a
they
lot
do.
of
That is what it
government-
is.
Because why would you shut? Because shutting down Taco Bell ruins your
Yeah.
Washing Road thing.
Exactly.
Or they're just getting paid off, because I mean.
That's what I'm saying. You just go like, all right, dude, we're telling you when we're coming. Just pay us.
That's like the only Taco Bell in the area, too.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Talking
saying.
about
Get
right
rid
on
of it. Get rid of it.
Riceboro?
It'll be good. Yeah, the one I watched him. There's
Mm.
one. There's another one, but somewhere far.
There's other ones, but they're farther, way farther. Like, that is the closest one in like a 5-mile radius.
Right. Can we legalize or just like normalize restaurants having Baja Blast for Mountain Dew? Because
Dude, straight.
I was gonna say, is that just a Taco Bell thing?
Yep.
Because they have it in
Yeah.
bottles at like the gas station, of course, but it doesn't taste the same if it's not at a fountain.
A ball
Right.
blast.
They used to have it. They used to have it. They used to have it nowhere, and there was a operation, get the Baja Blast. And if y'all know about this, this one dude like had this whole operation, bro. He had like tubes in his hand and had a cup, and it was connected to the tube, and so when it went in, it would suck it up and go straight down like his leg, and he had he brought in a bucket. And so, and the way the Taco Bell was set up, like they weren't going to see him do this, so he did that and filled like this whole fucking Home Depot bucket of Baja Blast.
And no one's
Crops
concerned as to
that
how
bitch
he's
off,
filling
brings
a
it home,
32-ounce with
Nobody
77.
brings it home, and he starts doing it. He keeps doing it. And he's like, they gotta be like, where's our syrup? Where's our syrup going? Oh, Baja Blast's gonna be so popular. And so, and so he's got like 4 jugs at home. He has almost fountain. Fucking just cooler that bitch up, stuff that bitch away. I don't know how he saved the
But it was-
carbonation.
I was gonna say, yeah, how
But-
did you save that?
This guy
You
was
use
a-
Soda
This
Stream.
guy was a freak for the blast because it wasn't available anywhere, dude. You couldn't.
Blast,
you couldn't
bro.
you couldn't go in. You couldn't go into a gas station and make some Baja Blast. You had to go and talk about and be like, I need a Baja Blast. And this dude was so deep into Baja Blast, couldn't swallow his pride to go every 3 seconds.
Y'all remember when they came out with the
Hey,
freeze of it?
sometimes-
that shit was
I never-
revolutionary.
Bro, everybody was on like a damn near riot.
Gosh, yes.
Correct. As it should have been. I'm sorry. What the
Oh,
fuck?
yeah.
That shit was so good.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
It still is. Oh my, y'all, this is so dumb, and no one. This doesn't affect anyone but me, but this is lethal information for me. Taco Bell will make any taco as soon as they open. Like, it's not just breakfast. They will make a nacho cheese, cheesy gordita crunch at 9 a.m.
Isn't that awesome?
And I may be the only bitch in the drive-thru at 9 a.m., but damn am I happy.
That's
I
right.
Damn.
Damn.
That's
It's
right.
so good. They're like, anything like a steak chalupa at 9 a.m.
I don't know. I don't think my stomach could handle a chalupa.
I
At 9 a.m.,
love. I'm that
like-
person that like can't eat. Like I could eat a whole burger, like a steak, and a full 3-course meal for breakfast.
Yeah, I can't eat.
Yeah, you got an iron
Once
stomach.
I get, no, I don't. Funnily enough, but no, once I get stoned in the morning, anything is good.
Oh my god, that's true.
Even crystal meth.
Nah, dude.
Huge rats.
Love that shit.
Facts.
I don't support what they're on. Which is crystal.
Oh yeah, did you
meth.
bring the pipe?
No, we're fucking snorting it. Snorting the meth. I'm just kidding.
Snorting the meth.
We're kidding. We're joking.
Yeah, we don't do
We don't do
drugs.
fucking meth.
Not meth.
Not at all.
Definitely not.
Not
meth.
meth.
Nah, I think the hardest drug I would think of would probably be coke.
Yeah.
But that's about it. I can't really think
Coke.
of anything else. That's the only limit I can go
No.
through.
No, I've done some hard drugs, but not really legal to say.
Yeah, that's something I can't really explain.
I'm clean now, so I just smoke weed.
Yeah.
Which technically, like, that's why I have a conflict with that. Is it clean? Weed's a drug. Is it clean time?
I do the whole sucking dick for coke, but I never get coke.
What do you get?
Just a good time.
Happy ending.
Oh my
man.
It's been a happy ending.
He's so happy.
Yikes.
Man.
Amen. I'm just playing it.
Yeah, we do joke like this all the time. It's
No.
so human.
Roe v. Wade.
Roe v. Wade. Something serious. Something serious, not dicks. How do we feel about that? I'm gonna.
I feel about it. So just
I'll 60 minutes
I could
this one, 'cause
leave
I'm
that.
not so informed about it.
I could happily leave that.
I would love for Sam to lead that one.
yeah, please.
How
It's a
we
great
feel
one.
about
Perfect
it?
guess.
Like leading
Yeah.
how we feel about it.
Oh, yeah.
I think it is
Well,
absolutely.
Let's go with. How about this? You explain it first. Explain it for the audience,
Oh,
so we
okay.
all understand
If
what
you've
Roe
been
v.
living
Wade is.
under a rock,
Mhm.
and are unaware of the terrible, terrible terroristic attack against women in the U.S., the Roe v. Wade was established, long context short, to legalize abortion and have it be a safe, accessible thing in the U.S. That is being overturned in, I want to say, 16, 26, a lot of fucking states. A lot of which have already voted it out, a lot of which have already overturned it. This is why it is so important to care about who you are voting in locally, because these are the people that are taking it away from you. It's not the president. It is not the vice president. It is Congress not doing anything about this. It is our president not executive ordering this when he should be. It is truly baffling to me that as a country, as anyone at all, us being ballsy enough to claim we're a free nation while banning the choice of having a child. What's mainly concerning to me, because everyone can have their concerns about not being able to get an abortion, I'm not worried about me not getting an abortion. I'm worried about a 12-year-old that's raped by her father not getting an abortion. I'm worried about a 16-year-old who's raped by her boyfriend not getting an abortion and being stuck and tied to her abuser for 18 years of that child's life at least. Because no contacts aren't that simple. And if you're willing to take away something that is within my own body, I can't imagine you're not willing to take away rights that would keep me safe outside of it. So that goes for DV situations, that goes for rape situations, that goes for any SA, like that. It's so baffling to me that is even something we can vote on. That what is right here physically on me is something that you guys have the ability to go vote on.
Which
That's fucking insane to me. Like, I'm sorry, but I shouldn't even be able to vote on any other woman's right here.
Well, because I'd be pissed. A lot of men be pissed if you told them you can't go get a vasectomy. Because for one of those things, a lot of young men would be like, fucking, okay, cool, like, I don't give a fuck, whatever. But when you get older, like, the choice, you want choice. And so if you're old and you don't want to have kids with your wife anymore, and y'all both don't want to do that, and it's just like an easier process, why wouldn't you? It's technologically advanced. We're doing it. Let's do it. It's honestly like an old thing they used to do. It's just they did it different ways, more dangerously. Yeah. But it's obviously like a thing. You know what I mean? And so for you to take that away, a lot of dudes would be pissed.
Mm-hmm.
I think they didn't think about it all the way through, because with how everything is going on nowadays and how like our whole era is like changing constantly, we don't even realize it. But by the time we have a certain generational shift, it feels like there's more problems than there are solutions.
Everything's unprecedented.
So like with everything going on and how it tries to keep us protected by taking some of these rights away, some of these are kind of unfortunate, because I think they're not worried about the bigger picture, about what happens in America almost every single couple of days, probably even minutes. By now, somebody can be going through the most hardest ships with their selves being pregnant over situations that Sam just mentioned earlier. So,
I mean, yeah, like today, for example, just to out my own business, I took a pregnancy test in my work bathroom because I was just like, I haven't had a period in a minute, kind of thing. And I'm in a very committed, happy relationship, but we are not in a place where we want a child. Absolutely not, and there's no question on that. I currently still have the ability to go get an abortion. If this goes the way that it's expected to in the Bible Belt and in the South, I am no longer going to have that right soon. And I cried in the bathroom at work today looking at 2 negative tests because there are so many women that don't get to stare at one line on a test. Like, I literally just sobbed because it was like, yes, thank God I'm not pregnant, but if I was, and this was 2 months later,
Well, that I mean,
You know, and like personally,
That's
my
what I thought about,
body,
too.
yeah, my body can't handle pregnancy. I was told like at a very early on that there are things wrong with me that, you know, it's going to be hard for me to bear and produce another human because I can't even take care of my own human on myself. You know, like my own body
Right,
doesn't
right.
nourish itself right. There's no way I could create another being right now. So it is a matter of life or death in a lot of situations in pregnancy. And I could get pregnant and at 6 months they're like, okay, you're going to die giving birth to this. But we could have told you that at 12 weeks. But, you know, couldn't have gotten it taken out. So what's the point?
You know the ironic thing about
It's awful. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, no, I say the ironic thing about it is one of my classes, we were talking about certain debates, and it's about literally anything that was from 2000s to right now to 2010s. And so one of them were about Roe v. Wade, and this was before the law was like passed in certain states, and how they were debating whether they should support abortion or whether they, you know, do the opposite and vice versa. We didn't really pay it no mind at first because we never thought that it's something like this would happen so sudden.
Pro-life and pro-choice was just an opinion. It wasn't something that you voted on.
Yeah,
Which
especially
it always has been. That's the problem.
yeah, especially knowing that government officials aren't really representative with their own selected gender. Like, name me 5 different women who were in the Supreme office or just Supreme Court talking about these types of laws. No one, because you're not going to see them.
The only person, I mean, and they, of course, congresswomen can only do so, like congressmen and women. Congress
Who's that very
people.
conservative congresswoman?
Elizabeth, she cried in front of a cop car because I mean, that's the point. A woman that cannot give birth, cannot get pregnant, cannot get an abortion, is not fertile, cried about this being done. Because this is so much bigger than abortions getting taken away. This is so much bigger than governments no longer paying for abortions. Because even to that, I understand to an extent. Like, whatever. That's a whole nother, you know. That doesn't even need to be worried about now because they're getting taken away. And it just starts with abortions. That's the problem. That's how you get in. And then all of a sudden I can't take birth control because that's stopping myself from my natural body creating a human. And then I can't go get any kind of preventative care, condoms, because that's God's work. This is religious based, and that's what's bothering me. It's not a matter of you're killing God's creation. And again, Christian, you're killing God's creation. I am God's creation. I'm sorry, I come first before the clump of cells that I created with another creation that I'm in love with. Like, I matter more than that being to me until it is a being that I choose. You know, and I don't feel like the God that we claim to praise is evil enough to banish you to hell for aborting a baby when you were 14 and molested. Why?
I had a dream the other day of
Some people just
Of
aren't breedable.
me with a black bracelet, and it looked like that, but I couldn't think of what would be on my wrist that looks like that, and you just did it, and now I'm like, oh my god.
Is that what they do in like those like survival movies and things?
No,
Why do they
they
take
do
their
this-
wrists?
Man, that would
Oh,
be
they
funny
do
if
this
they
in
did.
like fighting rings in like Africa. So like they'll do it around their wrists and then
But if you do that, if you put duct tape around your,
Then they'll
if
do
you
it
around
around
your
their
skin and like
arms.
stuff like that, you kind of
Why
make
are
it,
you
make
wrapping this much electrical tape around your hand?
I'm saying,
He's
This
having
is like
fun.
super concerning.
you remind me of when Finn was having that leaf sword. on
Oh
his
yeah. No
arm.
kidding.
That was cool though. R.I.P. that man.
For real. You saw the Distant Lands show?
No, but I
What?
really wanted to.
You should
Yeah.
have.
Let's
on
talk
there.
about his death, bro.
It's on HBO Max, right?
Yes.
Okay, bet. Cause
You got a login?
hell yeah.
Okay, good.
I was like,
Yeah,
we're gonna give
I
you what
just
you
I
did.
say, bro,
That's
you just
it.
about to get
No,
hooked
no.
up with it.
Hey, bro, I appreciate it for real.
For sure, dude.
But-
That show's too good.
Yeah, I have
I love
been
you,
watching
okay.
some spin-off shows from other shows,
Okay.
like regular show, Close Enough, and yeah, just not
That's
get
good,
to
dude.
Yeah.
I watched a few episodes of season.
Honestly, if they would have just said
Pretty
regular show
hard.
2, I wouldn't even notice.
Right, bro.
Like-
it's good. Same dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. But no,
It's not like
the
a lion.
Distant Lands is it's like 4 episodes,
Mhm.
and they're all individually based on like like
Like
someone's story, but they're like 40 minutes each. So like, it's a long ass thing. The first one was about BMO, and then the other one Marceline and Bubblegum, and then most about Marceline. That's awesome. I like that one a lot. It's very musical. They're all very musical, but that one's actually no, that one's the musical one. And the third one's about Finn and Jake. And then those got so popular they made a fourth one with
He's recording.
Yeah, it's a recording.
Peppermint
Oh,
Butler.
We're streaming now, but
Oh, we're streaming.
Look at
yeah,
that.
Streaming.
yeah. For those of you who don't know, yeah, we made a
streaming?
little podcast, yeah. So welcome to the Cast on Stream.
Hi.
You know what I'm saying?
We
Everybody
live.
introduce ourselves. So,
Oh Lord.
What are we on?
That's
What are we on
right.
Twitch?
yep.
Woo!
Actually, I want to see
Hey,
this.
yeah, what's the link?
What's
I
your
can post
Twitch?
it on my story real
Yep.
quick.
I got you.
Just let me know real quick, and then we'll introduce. I should have listened.
Oh,
Dude.
yeah, we got it. We got it.
Yeah.
It's so lit.
All right. So, Matt,
It's tight.
introduce
Shalom.
yourself. Sam, Justice,
Presley.
Preston,
Presley.
Preston.
Presley.
Presley.
Elvis.
Got you.
Like Elvis. Presley Lucky.
Oh, that's better.
Can I do it?
Lucky, you
It
call me Lucky
scares
a lot.
me so much. Why?
Speaking of which, for
I
Lucky,
know how to use it.
have you heard an artist named Lucky before?
Yeah, he blew up and I was like, oh, dude, go that guy. But kind of my rap name. My
Bet.
stage name at the time.
There
Scary,
you go.
scary knife teammates.
Bet. All right. I think I have my phone right here. I'm going to look it up.
Gotta have
Shout
it.
out the Prince.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yo, I might take that as a producer tag. I'm not gonna hold
The
you.
Prince.
Yeah.
Yes, bro.
Good.
And you know what you got to do,
That's
right?
nice.
You know what your tagline going to be?
What?
Vegeta.
Vegeta?
Vegeta being saying he the Prince.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes,
I keep
bro.
forgetting about
That would be so hard.
Yo,
That'd be tight.
that makes more sense because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really much into Dragon Ball Z about it. I like it, but I'm not like a big fan compared to like Naruto, Tokyo Ghoul.
Right.
So, but either way, that's still a great
Vegeta's
time.
fine. He's fine. He's the best one out of all of them.
I looked at the manga for Super, and I was looking at some certain chapters where he was like really like teeing up against everybody. I don't know
don't
whether it
play.
was a tournament or what, but yeah, when he has his own moments, he can shine. It's just that the writers don't want to give him the credit like Goku does. But y'all not ready for the conversation.
What was the? How you spell
Of
it?
course not. He's a side character.
Exactly.
You never want to give side characters the recognition they deserve.
There we go.
Just gotta
Yeah.
casually cut my
Yes,
finger.
sir.
Turn it down. Follow.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of side characters that are underrated, but they should have their own stuff. Like Naruto, Rock Lee, they did him dirty Shippuden, but by the time he was starting out, it was a whole different breed.
straight up.
Yikes.
Swish.
I am not a Kobe.
There we go. There we go.
You're hard.
I am.
Stefan.
I'm a Joaquin.
Still
Thank you very
impressed
much.
that the Warriors beat the Celtics, but it's okay.
Dude, I made me
Are you
some
really
money.
surprised?
I made me
I'm
some
not really.
money.
Did you?
Yeah.
How much?
I don't know.
No.
I just knew we bet.
I don't know.
We were both messed up. We talked about it. I don't know.
I'm so weak.
I can't think of
Oh
it.
yeah, what's
Let's
the
get bits.
link? Oh, I want to see this.
You shut up.
You just put it in on my Twit.
The fuck.
Yeah.
Who's your home screen?
I'm
Oh
Presley.
my.
We said this.
I'm Sam. Since
We
we're
already
saying
said
it
this again.
I'm Matt. Hello.
I'm Matt
too.
You already know the vibes.
Yes. How cool. This is dope. This is sick.
Yeah,
Sick.
like,
We'll be able to move. This is such an easy setup. We'll be able to move the podcast around.
mhm.
Because I got.
T-Watch.
Well, whenever I get the new house set up, I'm gonna do a sesh.
Yes.
Yeah, especially in the living room.
Because I got that. I got
the
that
audio
Shure
is nice.
Oh yeah.
Whenever
I get the new
house set up, sesh.
Oh my god, that's so
It's looking
cool.
nice. Little double
That's what
audio.
I'm saying.
That is so cool.
We live. But I feel that though, like by the time we had certain, topics being sprung out though, we have always a certain way to revolve it right back, and then switch
Yeah.
it to another topic just so smoothly. And that's what I appreciate overall.
I think we did. Yeah, I think this dynamic was really good. We were all really good at bringing it back. Because
Mhm.
our name of the last one that me and Matt did, Tangent, it was a tangent all the time. Because it was just like fucking ADD as shit. Because it was me.
Yeah.
It was me and Matt sitting there just
Yeah.
like fucking, hey man, hey man, hey man, like all the fucking time. And it's like, dude, remember it was everywhere.
Yeah,
but it
it
was
was
cool.
like
It was
a lot of
fun. But it was like
memories.
probably only funny to us.
Yeah.
And in the macro things. But like this was a lot better. It was a lot more intelligent and like in a sense, I guess.
A lot more thought provoking.
Yeah, and we
Yeah,
not
it's a
even
lot smoother.
finished.
It's a lot smoother.
Yeah, like we
We're
haven't
gonna get
even
better.
scratched the
Better
surface when
senses.
it comes to like not only a systematic problem, but also like from an emotional
Oh
standpoint.
yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure all of us have to deal with our emotions some way. So, how would y'all consider yourselves abrasive towards it? Like, how would you feel about how you control your emotions?
Well, for a long
Keep that
time,
shit.
that has been like the main focus of my own psyche was how to control these said emotions that they just come and you just feel it. the only way that I found that really works is to feel your emotions and to actually express those
Right.
emotions and feel your way through them into a point where they already flow through you. And I think that regressing your emotions just put off the the inevitable, and I think ignoring them just, I don't know, it invalidates your entire personality. Not only just physically or even, well, definitely
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
Like that.
physically.
psychologically. That was the
Absolutely.
word I was looking for. But yes, it's definitely psychologically messes you up, but also metaphysically, because you don't think about like how that actually affects like your hormones and how you actually you think. Because a lot of researchers now, well, I wouldn't say nowadays, but they've been doing this for, I think, since the 90s, but researching the effects that emotions actually have on our metaphysical health. And like even people being able to die of a broken heart because you have certain strings in your heart where through severe emotional distress or stress period, it could just snap and you just die.
And I'm so surprised that that's even true. Like,
And the way they found, isn't it because
Yeah.
they found out with elephants first? Because whenever their moms would die or their babies would die, it was vice versa. They they would die slowly afterwards from genuine heartbreak. And then humans do the same thing. I mean, you spend years
Yeah.
and years with your partner and then they pass. It's like, God,
It's in the Odyssey.
miserable.
let me find out who broke Dumbo's heart. I'm gonna go and get
No
him
cap.
personally.
No cap.
I can
On
only
site.
imagine, like, it's
Oh,
Dumbo,
It's
bro.
done. Forget about it.
I have to.
Fuck 'em.
Keep fucking crying about it.
Dude, Matt, you said hiding your emotions and repressing them like invalidates or takes away your personality or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard that worded out that way, and it makes a lot of sense now that you said it. But that's like good, like that makes sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like that a lot of my life was definitely like, oh dude, I don't want to feel these emotions, and like I'm saying like I didn't want to take them away with drugs or a third party because that made me feel like a pussy. Like, you know what I mean? Like in the most bro term ever, it made me feel like a pussy. And so I felt less man by hiding them that way. So I just took it and held it down. And I was such a wall in a sense, like a non-person.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I thought that like, well, I understand my emotions. I'm cool and still, but I still suppressed them. Still did that, whatever. Now where I'm at today, it's kind of like I've been trying to just let it be what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know exactly who I am. You know what I'm saying? But if I just let me be me, just exist, I think I'll like understand. You know what I mean?
Figure it
Yeah.
out.
Right.
And so sick fucking. Well, you put that. Thanks.
And I think it's really hard, especially because, like, as men, like, men don't cry. Grown men don't cry, big boys don't cry. That's stupid as hell. And you're raised to block off certain emotions because you have a penis. And it's crazy. And then in the same light, you're raised
Well, it's not even
to
sad.
block off
It's not even
certain
just sad.
emotions.
It's like you can't be too mad. You know what I mean?
You just gotta be
You
chill.
can't be too mad, and you can't be
You can't be too sad.
because if you hold your shit in you, it turns to anger. So you can't be too mad. So that frustrates yourself.
Yeah.
You can't be too sad because that makes you a pussy. You can't be overly excited about things. So you gotta hold it in. That makes you too excited in one moment, and it kind of like and then that turns like an anxiety thing. So like, if you just exist and just let it happen and just it works.
This is
And like that's what I've been trying to do lately. And it's like a little bit like my struggle, I guess, at the moment. Like if I had a problem, if I was going to think ahead in time and look back at me right now from out of the box, I'd say that would be my problem. Was like trying to let go. You know what I mean? I'm just existing again. Because I mean, I don't know. I just haven't. I guess I had a false sense of that enlightenment in a sense about 2 years ago, but then I went through a different evolving stage in my life, and that made me rethink everything in a sense. So almost just kind of
It gives you like a zen state of mind, almost.
Yeah.
Like when you think about what you can change, you don't really think about how it can be changed in an instant when you're in a certain area. or something that you're already like a part of and just been growing there for like a long time, you might not be in tune with what will be going outside, like behind closed doors, and also just new life experience. Like I promise you, go to one different state or just travel somewhere, try to find a different workflow or change your pace, and I promise that your whole mental psyche is gonna make it either 10 times better or 10 times worse.
There's a reason they force you out of your, like, say, force yourself out of your comfort zone. Like,
Yeah.
if you
It's true.
stay in that, it's just miserable and complete complacency.
There's no
And
room
that's,
for
yeah,
growth.
and it's a comfort zone for men to not show those emotions and to be a wall and to be, like, you know, so closed off. And it's like, it's so vulnerable in a good way. And that's the thing, vulnerable shouldn't be a negative word, but you have to paraphrase that it's a good way.
Yeah, vulnerable
You know
is
what I
good.
mean? Like, it's
Vulnerable's
a
good.
vulnerable good way.
Because the opposite
But-
the opposite of vulnerable is not a good word.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
it's not, and that's what society's forced you to be. It's like, don't be vulnerable. Don't let people see your emotions, because then you're a pussy. You're a bitch. You're a pansy. Like, God, real men wear pink. We had to have a breast cancer run for men to think they could wear a color.
That is
Like-
true.
And then they rock it religiously on Instagram to flex it.
It literally.
Right.
And like, we wore booby bracelets so that men could say the word boobies without it being like. There's so many things that just like are so randomly wrong. Same with like women on the opposite end of like, if you express any emotion, you cry as a woman. Like in a workplace, God forbid you cry in a workplace as a woman. Then every man in there is gonna be like, oof, she's a little unhinged. Like, she don't have it together. Why is she crying? There's nothing to cry about. When you would have put your fist through a wall for that. So I'm sorry that I exerted that. You know what I mean? Like,
Truth.
and that doesn't mean that that's bad. Literally, you've been taught that anger's a secondary emotion. You wanted to cry first, but you couldn't, so you hit a wall. I want to hit a wall, but I know I'll break my hand because the wall's stronger than me, so I'm gonna cry.
See,
Right,
that's
these
the thing. Is it
measures-
gender roles that
Yeah.
is really being taught, or is it gender stereotypes?
Exactly.
You know, the mass
Gender
over
roles.
the
Gender
you know
norms,
the
for sure.
excluded minority, because you know there are all different types of people out there, all different breeds and you know cultures, and you know you're never going to find the same person in another person, definitely not. So why would you try to subject anybody to the fact that all people are just the same, or that there's this one type of person, or that this is another type of person? And that really could all just come back to ego, you know, playing a huge part in just the existence of our society as it is. Because, you know, people, they care more about status really than just about anything else, whether it be money or even their own well-being. They care more about being known or leaving a legacy, because they see life as so fungible, so like expensible, because just because of like the examples throughout history that we've had of either the loss of life or even the continuance of it, that it has become desensitized. Like, to live has become desensitized in the in the public eye, and you know, the normalization of dread, or the personalization of one's own sadness into a personality trait, to the point where everybody wants to be tragically but beautifully sad.
And they're socially
They
enabled
glorify
though.
it in a way.
They
When
do.
you get certain things that you acquire, and you realize that it's based off a norm on social media. So
Yeah.
basically, long story short, if you're going to be on Instagram and flex about what you want or what you don't have, don't make it a whole life crisis and make it as a crutch as to why you're like this. And there's no disrespect either. I'm just being honest, like how people are. Huh?
What is that?
Oh my god.
Yeah, some pretty interesting.
Yeah, we got some
Yeah.
pretty interesting people in the
Pretty
chat.
interesting mods. Is that a mod?
Huh.
No.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, but yeah, they it's like something that we glorify nowadays.
You don't get the.
Yeah.
If only it was hanging lower.
Oh yeah, that would have
That would be
probably
nice.
worked.
I could put it on the back of the couch, but then I never.
We
been
could
able to
just
put the
couldn't we
couch
just
out.
tilt that back just a little more so like the table's not in it? And
We
that's
could. So that
Yeah,
means
but as
Oh,
you need the
with the
table because
center,
it levels the
Yeah,
the
it
shot.
does give a sense of like
Yeah, so like if we do it the next time, then we could try to tilt the camera up and see how it goes.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much all I can think about when it comes to camera. Because with fish lens like these, it's a blessing and a curse. Like, and it's worse because I can't even physically adjust it.
Right. I think I'm gonna be trying to get a camera in the next few months. So if I do, I'll definitely want to shoot because I'll be itching to use it and shit. So
Hell yeah.
I mean, we got yours too, dude. Fucking do wide shots, do fucking
Mhm.
inside shot, like close shots.
Can
Sick.
make the logo thing, the beginning, the opening.
Oh yeah, I could totally make a an animation for like intro.
Yo, that would be
Have I
dope.
shown you what I can
Yes.
do?
Show him. It's
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah, I'll
good.
show it. Sorry, live
Actually,
stream.
You remember the idea that I had about like having like drawn tag-alongs for everything, so we wouldn't. Well, it's not that we
Like
wouldn't
subtitles?
No.
Oh,
Like,
say.
like
Okay.
drawn like avatars. Sort of not like you know how you see people online. They'll commentate, but with like an avatar.
It's
in
an
the
animation
background.
instead of a.
Would
video.
you? Because the easier way to do that would be FaceRig. FaceRig is a thing you can download, and it works on OBS. So all of us be face tracked and like rendered out to be any avatar you want, 3D rendered.
Even still, that's
So that's-
like,
that-
So you
like,
can make
his
yourself like a
laptop.
turtle talking.
Yes.
But you
yeah.
still gotta
yeah.
have, like-
But if we were at home and we had a desktop,
Like,
because that
Mr. I have.
Mr.
40
I have
gigabytes of
listen.
RAM.
I'm about to
we have-
tell everyone about it because I had a laptop for 11 years.
Yep.
11
Yeah.
years
Yep.
had that motherfucking laptop, and I still love
Yeah.
that
I
boy.
tell everybody about his PC.
But
I call it a
The
computer.
laptop's a
but
shit,
it's a
dude.
PC.
It makes you love the desktop more when you get one.
Oh my, oh god.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta be
Right.
humbled a little
You
bit
gotta
first.
appreciate
I
it.
appreciate her. I love her, but my big bear at home.
Oh god.
She can run the shit. She can run the shit. But
Honestly, like it's a satisfaction of
We do
like
that.
knowing how. And no disrespect to this laptop. You my beauty. I love you. I'm glad you got me here to this point. But I know that certain things have to, we have to make
different
sacrifices.
things. You do
He
different
said-
things
You gotta
for me,
pray
sweetie.
for
Like
that.
it's not you, it's me.
Exactly.
It's
No.
like, you do everything
You
I
know
need
what
you to do. but
Exactly.
I
Cause
want different.
well, I won't go there. I would just say that I gotta do both sides. Best of both
Yeah.
worlds.
I know even when I do get a
Come on,
desktop, it's
I know, so you sound like you project a little bit there.
No,
buddy.
that's just funny.
I know.
Yeah, I'm
I
just
love
saying,
my
like,
laptop.
that
Just say.
by the time you have like a certain thing,
Yeah.
you
To be
can
fair,
apply
I'm
for a
a big
long
birthday
time.
at home. So
People
that's
might think
fine.
around and look at it like it's
But
down
I
bad, but
should
it's like
believe
you're
it.
working with the best you got, and
Exactly.
it works out well. So
like you're working with what you got, and
I did the most creative shit on that laptop.
yeah, and as soon as you
Because it-
like
because
build
it
up and
limited you.
invest into something better, then it just makes it feel more worthwhile.
Exactly. Even still, like your limitations sort of give you that mystique or that thought process of like, okay, well, I can find a workaround for this.
Yeah.
Make it better, but I can't do this. But it's just what you can and can do.
Right, but either way, you can make anything work. Like
Exactly.
dead ass. There's nothing really stopping you by how we live in an era, like you mentioned in the beginning of the stream, that we are all like attracted to something that's trending. And even with sales on a few records too, like if you consider over like 100K sales a week, first week, as a flop, then it's kind of stupid compared to other years where we didn't even worry about that. But now all of a sudden, we got first week numbers that are popping, and if they're popping, they're relevant. But if they don't or meet the expectation, then they've fallen off,
Right.
which makes no complete sense.
Today, that's
Right.
exactly what happened. Like this guy, he runs a tap truck in Vegas. If you ever see him, he's great. But he runs a tap truck, and it's a 1960s Chevy that's been completely gutted and remodeled to be a tap truck, a removable tap, a bar. It's an amazing thing, super cool. He has an Instagram, and he got 6,000 views on a video, and it's his most viewed video. It's a TikTok sound, it's whatever, but it's on Reels.
Right.
And 6,000 views for a local beer truck. And he was like, yeah, 6,000 views, like joking about how that's not that much. I was like, Mike, if 6,000 people walked into this parking lot to buy beer from you or to look at your truck, just to look at what you're doing, isn't that a lot? And he
It
just
is.
kind of like looked at me, and then Raph kind of looked at me, and everyone just stared at me for a second. And I was like, that's a lot of fucking people. Like, I understand that, yeah, you want 60K, and yes, you want 6 million, and yes, that would be amazing, but you have to start somewhere, and you have to be appreciative of that low number of that 6,000 being nothing for you to get that 60K, for you to get that 6 mil and appreciate it.
6,000 is worth more than 100,000 on World Star because
Yes.
most of that shit, for one, is fake. Second of all, it's non-local shit. That was 6,000 people.
He decided-
That must be all local.
Yeah.
Gotta be local. No one else seeing that shit. No one's getting recommended that shit. The algorithm ain't giving them shit unless you live here. Unless your grandma live here.
You
know what I'm
have to be a
saying?
beer connoisseur or
That just
local.
got to everybody you wanted it to, sir.
Exactly. That's another thing. There's a TikTok sound of it's a girl with her it's your garden project that she's talking about, and she said, I think it might be a resin business, whatever. But she says, I got really upset because my videos were getting a lot of views, and then all of a sudden I was only getting 30 views every now and then. But if 30 people walked in here right now just to see what I was doing and then leave, I would be so pleased. Just 30 people. And if you think about that, like if I crochet, because I crochet,
So many
if
fucking
30
people.
people
Yeah,
were to
keep in
walk up
mind.
to me and be like, holy shit, and like
30
physically
people
like
could
me in person,
maybe
be like,
finish
I
it.
like that, that's cool,
Exactly.
and walk away, I would feel, oh my god, overwhelmed.
Like
I'd be on a
imagine,
cloud.
yeah, imagine having a certain party and you invite 30 people and those 30 people come through. You might not think that is big, but like, say, put in those same
100%
amount.
success rate.
Say, put that amount of views or people who is watching your stuff like right now into consideration in real life.
Exactly.
That you can literally fill up the entire living room, kitchen, and dining room table. That's a lot of people. So with all them on input, that's something that to be grateful about because they're
That's what I'm
there for
saying.
you.
Yeah.
And you got, straight
110%.
Straight
Man.
You gotta look at the time.
No, I was showing you this. So I made this the other day.
It's really good.
Oh my god.
Isn't he amazing? He made this all.
Oh.
That is so cool.
That's some
That one's from scratch. I made it like a loop a little bit better, but there's that one too. I just started getting a 3D a little bit more, just like learn it. So that
Oh.
one's dope. I love this one.
I love this one a lot. Like if you did like the
Smooth.
cast,
Mhm.
that'd be so cool.
Like right, and just quick.
my
and
God. And then just,
it's like,
like,
boom,
wipe away.
and
Yeah.
then little
Womp,
quick like
and then
wipe.
womp.
And I can do some crazy wipes. Like
Look at this.
I made this
is
from
like
scratch because
fucking
and that's
entrancing.
so much fun.
I
It's
sat on
like
my
a
phone
space,
like this
and
one
it's the quality of the iPhone don't do it justice. But dude, it's so nice.
You know, eventually we're
Oh.
gonna
This
get a
one's
board
cool.
for like transitions.
Look at that.
Of course.
Like how fucking
Oh, yeah.
hard. The fucking wave
Fire,
behind it.
Yeah.
bro.
Hey,
Nice.
hey, viewers, if y'all trying to look at this, pay for my Patreon. $5.
$5.
$5 a month.
$5.
There we go.
Good content.
Okay.
Good God.
Okay.
Get an inside view.
Yeah,
Before it
exactly.
makes it big.
Indeed.
Remember
But,
us when you do.
Oh, for
That
sure.
was
Because
the,
by the time we have like a bunch of like stuff to even talk about, there's like a lot that's gonna be going on in the world. Like I'm at this point, I even told my friend about this. There's a lot of strange things going on, even in real life or on the phone or like memes and stuff. But either way, at this point, you can't really be surprised. So any weird stuff that you see like in real life or on your phone, just know that it's probably gonna be it's the same coincidence. You see a zebra in your bedroom, that is not a coincidence.
Mm-mm. No way.
And you also probably
Yeah, no.
need a 5150. So
yeah, if you
talk
see
to
it,
someone about
Go.
your mental
Wait.
health.
definitely need a 5150.
Dude.
Yikes. This brought back, those two numbers just brought back bad memories.
Ooh, damn.
You know, I'm thinking about that because a lot of my friends, most of my friends didn't know what that was, and it's a cop code, so obviously you wouldn't know that unless you need to, or you've done it, or you've heard
Mhm.
someone say it about you. But it's a 72-hour voluntary institutionalization. So you're like, I need to be held. I'm going to hurt myself or others. Like I cannot be amongst the public. Usually it turns into more of a stay than that because you need more than 3 days. But 3 days is when you can call 911 and request it, essentially. In lack of better words. For MGK to put a whole song out saying, you make me want to put myself in a 72-hour institutionalization voluntarily. I don't know who hurt him, but you should feel like shit.
Seriously.
If anyone felt that way.
Or just any emotion, like, period, from the
Right.
person. It could be either small or minor, but it makes you wonder, like, what makes you love an individual and how much the pain will, like, come afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not putting it on anybody. I'm not just saying. I'm not putting it on anybody, but, like, just think about it for like 2 seconds to think what made you consider loving that individual. Like, what is there to love about her or him?
Well, maybe that's the thing. You don't ever consider it. It just happens. You know, a lot of people have theorized that love is just a chemical reacting with more chemicals in the brain after interacting with hormones and, you know, all these other different types of theories. But really the only true, you know, way to define love is to be in love and then just say how it feels to love that person. Many people could tell you why they love that person, but at the end of the day, there's no real definition to it, and that is what makes love, you know, that really important thing, because it's, I wouldn't say it's unimaginable, but it's unquantifiable. So to
It's
say,
irreplaceable.
like it's
something
it's something we can't fathom.
It's unpredictable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Really. And dang, I was thinking about something like following right up to that would have been beautiful. But it was basically around a consensus of, if you are in love with that person, I don't believe that's true love. And here's the reason why. By the time you are in like a relationship, let's say like the 4 to a year, right? And how you have that certain in love phase and it still keeps going, that's good. But at the same time, I don't think that it's true love if you don't recognize the flaws in both you and the partner. So if you don't really feel content about what their weaknesses are and what their strengths are, or not trying to deal with both at the same time, being content with them, with your life, it kind of makes it a little bit jaded. So I think after a year, that's when it shows the true colors and if it's really meant to be love, or you really know that individual from a different perspective. Like, look at Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan, bro. They've been dating for like a year, and even then, Lori's not gonna get up the streets that easily, like straight up. And it ain't no disrespect either, but I call it how I see it. Like, look at the age gap from someone who's 24 compared to someone who's 35. I don't believe a 24-year-old to have the same mentality as a 35-year-old, especially if they have.
Well, now
I will disagree.
I could disagree on that
on a
one,
lot of it.
because I mean, it's no secret here that I've had sex with older women, but I mean, even still, to a degree, there's a certain mental I wouldn't say hold, but it's a certain mental strength that, you know, a person, I would say 15 years plus, would have on you, because you would think that, oh, that person is older than me in a different place or is to be respected. And I mean, that could just go back to the cultural ways you're taught. But even still, it sort of cements in you that it's taboo to indulge in, you know, sexual anything with anybody of an older age. But honestly, in my opinion, if you are old enough and it is not in a manipulative relationship type of way, I say go for it. If you want to fuck someone that's like 73 or like,
Hey, man.
you know, hey, to
All
each
power
your
to
own.
you. But here's
I
the
will
thing
say-
I would say, though, about referring to what you guys disagree with. I'm not saying that all women or all men have that certain type of age range to where they can't date someone older. I'm not saying that at all.
You're saying them.
I'm saying just the mentality of both Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey, knowing their past. Like, it's almost,
Okay.
you know how the certain cracks
Can
go
agree.
with a person like that. Not saying that towards everybody. It
I
depends
think
on what you
I
do.
think that view totally right, because like we don't know, but also they could be chilling. They could be good. She could have all the right intentions. You know what I'm saying? She could be like, man, I've been doing all this stuff. I'm famous now. I got hella money, and someone like Michael B. Jordan into me. I really do want to settle down. I'm kind of over it. I just want to ride through it. I just want to live life. Sick of all the guessing. And then, but he could be like, I got a young girl. I don't think, and she could be like, I don't think she's
All
really
that.
down for me anyway. So I'm just gonna keep shit on the side. Da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever fiasco scandal is good for me anyway. I've been through it before. Let's go. You know what I mean? So it could be that.
And especially because a lot of people see, especially like just older people, the blurred lines of dating or sleeping with and what you're doing. So
he could be seeing these fraternizations with other people as just interactions, and she could be seeing it as cheating, and vice versa. There's a lot of that, but that's the whole point of a relationship, though. I think those boundaries are set and spoken about very early on, or it wouldn't work. And that's what I wanted to bounce off when you said that if you're in love with someone, it's not. But I feel like the whole point of being in love with someone is seeing those disgusting, awful, terrible things that you would imagine no one could love you for. Of yourself, or you see those awful flaws and you look in the mirror and you cry about them and you don't want them, and you could never imagine putting someone else through that, much less putting yourself through it if someone else were doing it. But you could still love them for, you know what I mean? Like, it's, if you did it, but if they did it, okay, they're trying. You know what I mean? Like, there's compassion involved with loving someone. So I feel like when you're in love with someone, you have no choice but to accept those flaws, or you're not in love with them.
Right.
You have no choice but to see those terrible things and either run with them and work through them, or fucking fall and fail, and that's it. Wow. And yeah, honeymoon phase, of course. Yeah, honeymoon phase the first
definitely
year.
Definitely a real thing.
Definitely a thing. And a lot of people fall out of it a lot faster. A lot of people fall out of it in a week. A lot of people start throwing down immediately, which is when it's a problem, because you should have a honeymoon phase.
Right.
It should be blissful, and there should be nothing to argue about. But sometimes you get real stubborn fucks that love each other. Things happen. I just think it's so generalized, love is, and it's so impossible to generalize something like that.
Because it's like,
everyone's so different. Loving everyone is so different that you can't say, what he was saying, you can't describe what it is to love that person unless you've loved them. You can't explain it. Yeah, I may love someone's smile when I pass them on the street, but I can't explain how their daughter feels when they hug them. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different... Every emotion that a person has with another person is to their own.
Platonic...
connection.
What is, like, platonic, like, not romantic.
Platonic.
But platonic, is platonic the word?
Yeah, platonic word.
What is platonic love? What is that?
Oh.
If we're going to specify, what is...
I'm an expert on that.
How do you know... How do you know you're platonic? But I'm saying, like...
Well, you don't really feel need to want to reproduce with them. That's pretty much the whole basis of the
Like, you want to reproduce?
I wouldn't say it's the whole
I
I would
basis.
not reproduce at this age.
There's a lot of...
Listen. There's that it can't be that black and white, because there
Usually-
can be circumstances in life where, in 3 generations, 4 generations, now even more, whatever, less, reproducing is, for one, not the move.
Well,
For one, not the move, because either overpopulation or like there's no more life after this. We got to go to Mars, or like we got to fucking the world's shit. So we don't want to. So we're not.
I didn't mean
but like
reproducing
I'm saying,
as in like making a brood. I meant reproducing as in having sex. You know, as in doing the deed, fucking.
But if you want to fuck, that's not love.
That's not love.
What if you want to have... I'm saying not romantic. Not romantic.
It's not...
That's
it's not
romantic love. That's romantic in a sense. You fantasize
are you saying platonic love is not wanting to
different.
fuck the person but still loving them? I think that's what you're getting at.
That, yeah.
You don't want to fuck them, but you still love them. I'm just caring for somebody.
Oh,
Yeah,
but here's
you love and care
Yeah.
for someone.
and here's a kicker.
But I mean, like, see, Zang, that's why I don't know what the word is specifically. Like, I'm trying to say, like, not like just care for someone, not just like, because I love my brother, but like, I'm saying, how do you know you love, like, this is like your twin flame, your soulmate? How do you know? How do you know? Because you can't really, no one knows right now.
Well, if you
you really
How
put
do you
someone
know?
else's interest above your own without a second thought, then you probably do love them. That's a good indicator.
Yeah,
Well, no. Again, here I'm being devil's advocate for all of this. I'm being devil's. I'm being
that's the thing, you have to have that
It's
certain
not. It's
sense
not
of
even that.
self-awareness.
No.
That's
It's not
another
that.
thing.
Because wait, what was? Because you said what? You said what was the specific?
I say you wait. Okay, whole question.
Needs in front of your own.
Yes, you.
Yes, that it can be different. It can be.
I'm saying without a second thought, though, without
I
even
know.
thinking about it.
That's what I'm saying. Toxic is different. Toxic is you have a thought. You had two.
Yeah,
With I'm saying, it can be like a portrait, a slave, not slave, but like
trauma response.
like a you have to, like you feel the need to. That could be
Obligation.
not like, oh, I have to do this. It's like I gotta do this. You know what I mean? Like it's like
It's
it is
second
natural. It's not a
behavior,
second
'cause
thought.
when
It is your first thought. Just do it.
Yeah, like
it can be bad.
It's your first thought overall, but like it can go through like different phases. Especially if it's like platonic compared to romantic because
That's
you might
that's
it's like a
the
certain
word.
criteria. Yeah,
For the-
like
for specific, because it can't be that. It can't be that can't be the definition. You think it second. I mean, doing everything for someone, no second thought. I think what could be the truest of love, the most pure, like, this is your soulmate, like this person you want to be with, and I guess I'll try to figure it out. You want them to be as good as you. You want them to be as equal as you, as happy as you, and you want them to be them, and you ask nothing more but them to exist.
I think
Is that like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, like, and it's a weird way because I would say my first reaction was gonna be like you can't really find it, but I think the better answer will be that you just gotta figure it out depending on who you're with, because it can't be something that you can just find like right off rip, because you have to find growth in love or build with that person that you're with, that partner, and if it eventually comes to a point where it's like true love, or it depends on how you can make your own twin flame or your own like first time relationship, then it can work, but it doesn't usually work on the first try. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's always something that you gotta perfect more and more and more, and until you realize what you can, project onto someone else to make them look or feel a certain way and elevate them in the same way you are, and that's what true love is all about.
Yeah, because you can't. I don't believe in love at first sight, because I think.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
know about that.
Well, because listen, love at first sight. It's like,
I
hang on.
agree.
You can love somebody at first sight, okay? But what I'm talking about right now is that truest, purest, most deepest love that
Cannot
is
be
learned
developed.
and is built. I say, because
That's
you can't, because you
established.
don't know. I didn't know the entire her before her, in a sense, and like I thought she was a different person when I first met her. You know what I'm saying? I was I'm a judgy dude. I'm like, okay, I figured this out. I think I'm smart, but like obviously I learned. Take it back. But I learned she's different in a sense, and like I'm not saying that I thought she was this and that's worse. It's like I learned who she was, and I found out more things than I thought I was gonna know, and it was like, oh sweet, you know what I mean? Like it was like I'm cool with you just existing. It
Right.
makes sense.
And we would both be lying if we said it was love at first sight, because when we met, that's the thing is, I would say we were beautiful love, but there's absolutely no way that I could say that this love was established the second I saw you. I wanted to deck you.
It was
within,
built.
like 10
It was
minutes
built.
The first time I saw you. You know,
It was
like,
built, and I don't know, and I
Wait a
can't say
minute.
confidently like, oh yeah, this is the purest, truest love, because I would
don't
still
know.
say it's still being built.
It
Because I
is.
think when when it's finally built, you probably give it a year, month, or whatever. But when it's finally built, that's when
But see,
marriage
that's
is
the
probably
thing.
in
Love-
the option. You know what I'm saying?
Love, I would
Right.
consider like love to be a growing emotion, like a living, I wouldn't say breathing, but you know,
yeah, a living, breathing
a living,
emotion.
breathing emotion.
Yeah,
It needs room to
feels-
grow. It needs room to
That
grow.
you
That's
can
why
breathe.
early
Yes.
marriages.
yeah, that like
Don't
you
work out.
continually feel like
There's a
throughout even
pressure.
like
It just doesn't.
all times. And
Especially the pressure of, like he said early marriages, the pressure of marrying at such
You're
a young
stuck.
age.
You're stuck. You have to
You're
love him.
immediately
You're forced
stuck.
to love. You are not room to grow. You have a set path, and that's the one way to do it. You don't have time to take a step back or like be you in a sense, because you're us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the other thing. When building that purest love, you have to be two people. You can't be like you are whatever. But it has to be one person being a whole person, one person being another whole person, and coming together to be two people.
Overfilling each other's cups, not topping it off.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the
That's
worst
damn straight.
thing.
That's damn
It's
fucking
like
straight.
two half-full people meet each other and think they can compare. It could create a glass, and
Nah.
that it's not at all. It needs to be overflowing on both ends for it to be love.
Because that
It needs to be-
codependency.
That's my thing. Is that's what you were saying? Is codependency is truly the need or the feeling to be there through anything for somebody, no matter regardless of what it is.
But that can
putting someone
feel
else's
like
emotion
love.
in front of yours, it 110%.
That's
And that's the
scary.
thing is, it's horrifying, and it keeps people in things that they don't want to be in, and they're not happy, and because it's easier than, and obviously it is an obligation, but not in a I feel obligated way. It's a I love them so I want to kind of way.
Yeah.
And then once you don't do it anymore, not that you don't want to do it anymore, but for whatever reason, when you're not doing it anymore, you realize, fuck, I didn't really care to do that anyway.
Not only
Like,
that,
holy shit, that kind of fucking sucked.
it makes people feel like they're scared to change, and
Yeah.
after that, it kind of makes
big-
them have a very, very bad PTSD like all over the future.
A
Or-
negative connotation for
Fear of
anyone in
the
the
unknown.
future. There are so many things that him and I have gone back and forth on because our exes did it. And there's no way that either of us would do it. But it's just, it's been done. It has been done. It's not unspeakable now. It's not unimaginable now. But in our relationship, it is. Like, you know, there's so many things that, unfathomable, terrible things that could happen within love. And you just have to blindly fucking
And it's
wing
one
it.
it's one of those type situations where it's like, oh wait, like, am I not a whole person because I have problems like that? No, that's not what that means. You
No.
are allowed to still be hurt and be a whole person.
Oh, yeah.
You just have to understand. You have to understand and, you know, get it in a sense. You have to take inventory and understand yourself and, like, not control but understand.
But appreciate that you're still a whole person.
Because there could be situations you're like, oh, they could do this because this person did that. But if you don't fix yourself and say, after learning it's not, or like whatever it takes to be like, hey, that wasn't real. This person is different. People are different. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, people are different types of people, and that can help you. That can help you heal in a sense, because you're still kind of healing in a sense, but you would never have the opportunity to heal in that way without being in another relationship. And that's not saying go ahead and rebound and try to figure out,
Get
because
over
that
it,
doesn't
get
work.
none
That
of
makes
it,
it
no.
worse.
That- yeah.
But when you are finally like, okay, I'm finally get back in the game, and you are shot down because you just had a fight with this girl who's been going so good, but now it feels like the past, and now you're scared. But you have to take a step back and think, this person can
It's
be
not.
different, and I have to give them the same respect they would give me.
That opportunity.
It's all about forgiveness, and boundaries. You know, because you're like, because forgiveness should not be the main focus without boundaries.
Yeah, and it can really
110.
Because that
partake with
allows
like
abuse.
both, and it kind of goes back to how we were just referring to if being in love refers to what can be called longevity in terms of what's true love. But it really, like you said, it just depends and has to understand that codependency is a two-way street. It can't really be one-sided, nor can it. It can be something that one can be half on and one can be half on, or one can be 75 or 20. No, it has to be literally 100.
That's why it's codependency.
Well, no,
Exactly.
I will say, like, psychologically,
Well-
no, that is not true. One person has to be fully codependent because they have to feel either obligated or the obligation from. So one person has to be all about it, but the other person could be like absolutely unattached, like
I don't
completely
know.
detached.
Well,
That's what
And
I
the
would
other
call
person
just
could
like
still
a
be codependent.
dependency.
It kind of weighs in on both, because one person obviously has to have certain goals and minds and all this stuff, as well as the other partner. But at the same time, if there's got to be one person that has to do this, that, and the third, then there should be others who should do, others, like the little mind details.
fill
You
in
know what I'm saying?
fill in the space.
Yeah, when it comes to like codependency, there's mutual, like, I wouldn't say obligation to the standard of depending on each other, but it's a sort of an unspoken elephant that is just like, we know we're dependent on each other, and that's not okay, but we're still
Yeah.
going to do it anyways
It's
until we
different.
don't talk about it.
That's the thing, though, is it's not always both. It's a lot of times one, and that's the problem. Is
Yeah.
codependency is it can be such a light. Personally, there are codependent anonymous meetings, and I didn't know that. Like basically,
Yeah, they are.
codependency
Yeah, I
meetings.
knew
So,
that.
so my dad, this is how I found out, because I found out I was codependent this way. I was 15. I just broke it up. This is right after all the things I told you all about. That summer, went to my dad's to get out of the state I was in. And he was going to an 8 a.m. AA meeting. And in the same building, there was a group of old women in a circle. And I was like, that looks fun. So I walked in there. They're like, are you 18? I was like, hell yeah. Sat down and listened to a codependency meeting. And it was them talking about it's not a matter of anyone else needing you. It is not a matter of anyone else making you feel like they need you or that you are imperative in their life. It is that you feel the need or the obligation, but in the light sense of want to do these things for these people that don't deserve it from you. And they typically don't have the boundaries to accept that help healthily. So it becomes codependency because, humans are dependent on each other. Humans aren't meant to feel emotions alone. Dependency is a totally different thing because there are plenty of dependencies when it comes to drugs or people or foods or sodas. Like the sisters and their sodies. That's a dependency. Yeah, for sure. And like there's that, but dependency is not negative. And codependency isn't always negative because when it's one person being codependent or it's the other person being codependent towards them, it's a matter of I'm going to love the fuck out of you, and usually they're neglecting themselves, and that's when it becomes the issue. That's when it's the codependency is I am depending on making you better to make me better. I'm depending on fixing you to fix me, and that just doesn't work ever. And I had to listen to 47-year-old women talk about you can never fix them. Like it's the fixing complex. I'm serious. It's the I think I can fix him. I think I could do it. I could make this better. I could make the hurt less. I could make him understand that love is there.
Tame the beast.
I could.
The fixer mentality.
I could. If they wanted to be fucking fixed. And that is what codependency is. And that's until that meeting, I did not understand that the fixer mentality was codependency. Yeah, I thought codependency meant I need you to live. I can't leave you. You can't leave me. No, that's abuse. That's Stockholm syndrome. I literally had Stockholm syndrome with my boyfriend in high school. So like that's and I realized that I was codependent because I still wanted to love the fuck out of him. It wasn't like, oh God, please don't leave me. It was like, oh God, like you can't do this alone. I have to help you through this. Like you can't do this without me. Like how are you going to be able to do this?
It also adds to like your own sense of self-worth to a fact. It's like, okay, well,
if I'm not helping them, I'm not good enough.
Yeah,
what the fuck is wrong with me? Why can't I make this better?
Good, or even like helping anybody if you're not doing something for someone else. And so a lot of people tie that to like their own romantic lives. So it's like in a way it would be extremely socially awkward to try and put that on like a platonic friend.
Right.
And so a lot of people is I want to say predominantly females, but that's what is advertised. And
we can say for the sake of the argument.
For the sake of the argument, that's what it is presented to us, and it adds to a certain level of weirdness.
Absolutely.
Definitely in any sort of relationship. Like platonic, romantic, like when you start like putting your own self-worth into someone else, it starts creating doubt within not only yourself but also in that own person, because they're also thinking like, well, what if I'm not good enough for her to think that she's good enough about herself? And so now you're having a mindception trying to figure out how to make each other feel good, and then you end up
ultimately
it makes things kind of worse in itself because you never know how unexpected it can be or how sudden it can change in an instant. Like you kind of think to yourself that something is gonna last, or that one compliment a day can keep you last for like 2 months or whatever. But overall, it just happens when feelings change in an instant, and sometimes it could be for the good or wrong reasons, and sometimes it's just unexplainable. It's unpredictable by itself, so can't really change what a person thinks, nor how they feel, nor what they can fix.
So in that regard, when you fall, we've talked about how you know when you're in love with someone. How do you know when you've fallen out of love with someone?
It's pretty apparent when you talk to them or when you're in like seeing them in person.
When it's the situation of switch of emotion.
Body
when it's
language.
A situation of I woke up and no longer loved you.
To me, I
don't think that ever happens. Like if you really actually love somebody, you can't wake up and just not love them.
No, it's a slow process. Like something that
it's like a half-life sort of thing.
Yeah, kind of psychological in a way, but at the same time, you gotta make it logical as well, because you can have somebody fall out of love by not only from the communication but the body language, and if some of the cracks are kind of too big to bear, then eventually something's got to give to a point where they might think, that this might not be working. Or
I don't know.
There's no point in fixing this
Well,
certain thing.
Well, when it comes to like body language, that could also be very much misinterpreted at a lot of times. I wouldn't say it would be like an indicator of falling out of love, but
a
if
problem
like,
relationship. I
yeah,
thought that
and
would
I'm
be
talking
spoken
minor
about.
things, but like the bigger things that you might not really notice because you're in a relationship for that long. Or,
I think
yes,
when
yeah,
you're making-
okay, I can say that then.
When you're making self-fulfilling like prophecies, like of malintent, like towards your partner, I think that's when it's bad. When you like expect them to do a bad thing, in a sense, and by that alone, you kind of let that happen because you're obviously, if you're like, oh my god, they're gonna do this and he's gonna do this, then you're gonna project that in a sense because your face gonna feel like it's gonna do da-da-da, and if that person talks to you, you might have a tone, or you might just think they have a tone, and you're like just popping off because in your brain you're like, they're gonna talk like this, but they're talking nicely to you, but you're convinced that they are a dickhead. You know what I mean? So I think that's a pretty good point of like, okay, like maybe that, or like I mean, in false truths with that, a lot of self-convincing, I would say, of malintent towards your partner would be a pretty obvious side.
Yeah, and I think I've
it's a
heard
lot of
about this.
assumptions.
Yeah, especially when like I had the psychology class and they were talking about how a certain cognitive shift can be changed just from either yourself or from someone else, and it can just it's like a virus. It transmits to you, and it kind of just spreads, and you won't even know it till too late. Like you might have somebody say this about a certain situation, and even if you bring it up to the said person who is in that said predicament, they might think that's not the case. But either way, the first input of your mind is already said from someone else, and you might think of that more than your own partner's worth or word in a sense. So,
Or even like
yeah,
past
true.
experiences, that even goes back to like a codependency type thing, where it's like, okay, so I had this, I was traumatized by it, and so I don't want to be traumatized by it anymore, so I'm going to act a different way, or I'm going to exaggerate this feeling.
Come on,
Please.
Wilma.
yeah.
Come on.
I'd like to state for the record, Chrissy just made fun of a little bit of my dyslexia, but it's okay.
I'm dyslexic too,
We're all
partner.
dyslexic. Fuck you. And dysgraphic.
But it's
Suck it.
okay, because we do not discriminate.
We don't.
Nah.
Lost my whole train of thought there on that one. But no, it adds to adds a lot to a person to try and fulfill a need that they have for themselves in another person. And a lot of people, they go throughout life thinking that that's what love is trying to fulfill a certain aspiration or a goal or an objective in another person, trying to fix them or trying to ruin them shit. I can say that I have gotten into relationships to ruin people. It's not my finest work, but it is what it was, and that came from a place of hurt, and people really only are affected, relationally wise, when there's a lot of hurt, either before they could develop those types of emotions or even during, mostly before.
So when you think that your past relationships that were based out of hurt, do you think it was just hurt, or was it just hurt and revenge?
It wasn't hurt and revenge because that person necessarily didn't do anything to me. But it was from a place of not really malintent, but not really having their best interest in mind. It was more or less a sort of gray purgatorium area that of your own like subconscious, where you could feel as if whereas if you felt like if you did nothing, then opposed to doing something, then it wouldn't, fall back on you either way.
Yeah.
As sort of, that's what, I had the sort of mindset of going into a lot of my relationships. And that's not a good mindset to have. A more centrist mind or viewpoint, because when you get into a relationship, it's more or less attempting to find out more about that person or that, that or group of people, we support
just something that's
polygamy.
like something that you gotta really gotta think about from time to time, but not too much. Something that really shouldn't be the main focus about what you do on a day to day.
Oh yeah, no, it shouldn't be your entire goal and aspiration because a relationship doesn't define who you are. Another person can never make up for the lacks in yourself.
Exactly. Like, how are you gonna find somebody who has certain goals and ambitions when you are also thinking about just chilling, relaxing? It's like a balance. You can't have this side because then they're gonna think something else on the other side, and vice versa. So.
Well, that's why you always have to have like Sam said, a full cup when you go into a relationship.
Yeah, you gotta have your shit together all the way through, and then make sure that
Well, I wouldn't say have your shit all the way together.
Well,
Because
not all
no
the way,
one
but
has their shit all the way together.
right,
ever.
but mostly to the point where it's maintainable.
Yeah.
And,
Manageable.
Yeah,
where you
it's
have a
manageable.
handle on yourself to where you can actually be like, oh, look at this. I can show myself off to another person and be like, hey, I'm proud of myself. I want to see what you got, and I want to be proud of you too.
Yeah.
Right. And if you feel as though you're insufferable, you're just gonna be that way to everyone else.
Exactly.
Everyone
Because
else
your
is gonna
depression
feel
just
that
spreads
way.
outward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And projecting, I think, is like the main thing that really kills it. And even in friendships, like completely platonic things, the projection of emotion that is nowhere near that person.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if
Because-
it's through text and stuff, because
Oh,
you won't
yeah.
even
Oh,
realize
yeah.
Oh yeah.
it could be misinterpreted in the wrong way possible.
Right.
So many misinterpretations through text have just been it has been like a meme throughout the ages of text.
Really?
And it's, I wouldn't say it's caused a lot of relationship downfall, but it's had its victims.
Mhm.
And that's why I always say communication is key, especially if most people don't want to, but you gotta put your pride aside and double text or triple text or quadruple text to probably get your point across. But I wouldn't say, blow up someone's phone. That's
Yeah,
it.
no, that's
Never.
not something. You just gotta know what you have to say
Yeah.
and get that point across very clear so they can understand it to the
Mhm.
best they can.
Properly, instead of the spitefulness in text can definitely be
Respectfully.
Exactly.
Respectfully,
Yeah.
truthfully, just like this podcast. First episode of the cast, we have to get running.
I'm
So
sorry,
let's wrap
Sammy's
it up.
about to fall asleep on this
Yes.
couch.
But
while she's
motherfucker,
talking.
was it good? I'm Presley,
Oh yes, definitely.
Prince,
Sammy.
And Matthew.
and this was the fucking cast.
The
I hope
fucking
y'all
cat.
enjoy it. Stay tuned for on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Woo! That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Hold it with it.
Oh.
Oh, we in that bitch.
Ready? You wanna click it for me?
Ready? And go.
I hit your finger.
You did. I heard so
Subscribe to
bad.
the Patreon.
I lifted.